Hey everyone, and welcome to our 4th devlog for Project 2 here at Alta. Last week, the devlog got you all caught up to where we are in development right now, with a lot of improvements to combat and a look at our updated art target environment. That was all from April, so as we're all caught up now, devlogs will be short weekly videos covering updates from the team from that week. With that in mind, let's kick off these weekly update devlogs by taking a look at what the combat team have been hard at work on. First up, before we look at the new enemies, we have holstering in the game now. This is just its initial implementation, but it feels great to draw a sword from the hip now, and get the shield ready, and prepare for battle. And you may have noticed in front of me right now is some strange looking nest. Well, that's a spawner for spiders. As you can imagine, these 8-legged, creepy crawlies don't have a huge amount of health, but are lured down to the ground so you have to crouch down to attack them. They attack in larger numbers than we've seen with the normal skeletal enemies as well. They'll keep spawning from their nest if you don't take that out, so it's smart to attack it and then mop up the remaining survivors. Another quick thing before we move on, and this actually applies to all the enemy types I'm showing today, everything is still subject to change, and other creatures may take the place of these enemies in the future. Their implementation in the game is currently so that the team can test and get certain features working on a variety of enemy types before locking in the final designs. Anyway, it's time for us to move on through this environment and tackle our first flying enemy in the game, currently called the Flying Worm. These types of creatures bring their own level of challenge to combat, as they may fly above some attacks and also swoop down to attack you when you least expect it. Currently they are in the game as a proof of concept for flying creatures, but you can imagine them taking the shape of many different types of creatures in the future, from birds to bats to many more weird creatures that you might be fighting in P2. Next in this combat playtest space there are the archers, which we already covered in an earlier video, but they have received some improvements and will re-engage with you faster instead of just running away to get a longer line of sight before attacking again. They also feel much faster and dangerous in combat now. As we've already covered archers in detail previously, let's move on to the last new enemy type, which we see in this room alongside one of the classic sword-wielding skeletons. These new enemies are currently called fodder skeletons, and they are smaller weaponless skeletons which are much weaker but can be dangerous if a few gang up on you and start attacking you with their fists. They employ overhead swings and forward swipes to do damage, but like I mentioned, they're pretty weak and go down with just a few hits. And that's it for this week's devlog. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with these devlogs every single week. And remember to join the Discord via the link on the screen, or click the link in the description and let us know what you think to what we've shown of the game so far. Thank you all for watching, and see you all in the next one.